Thought that this movie was really interesting. It's based on like a real story of a group of Mennonite women living in Romania.
Find it funny that, Ben Henshaw, who is the teacher and is the only man involved in these issues with the women because he says he was at college. He's become worldly in his knowledge, but he's the one there supporting the women. He is the actual interpretation of this nomadic situation of what an ally is supposed to be. All these, dynamics going on dealing with, beyond the religion part, it's dealing with a highly patriarchal society that these women are in, and in the midst of that, Rudy Mara character defines love to with Ben Whishar's character countering, and his character is countering the pervasiveness of these men as being one of the few, the few good ones, and I think a lot of men in real life gets discouraged when they say, oh, when women say, oh, there are no good men. Let's be honest, and I'm saying this as an older brother. Like, I've had conversations with my sisters when they ask me about stuff, and I'm like, yeah, don't trust him, don't do X, Y, and Z, because he might say this, but he's gonna do this. And I'm like, wow, you don't know he's such a nice guy. I was like, I know, because I'm a guy. Every guy has that certain propensity toward certain things, and it's the very few good ones who don't act upon those things. And I'm gonna be honest, and when women are saying there are no good men, they're not talking about men being in jail or men. Okay, there are very few hard to find men who are truthful and honest.
I remember having a conversation with my guy friends a couple years ago, and they were talking about, their relationships with women and stuff. And I was like, well, why can't, if you see that this girl is obviously like insecure and pain, why can't you just like leave her alone? Like, don't take advantage of the opportunity. And they're like, well, it's easy.
Yeah,
So yeah, I'm gonna do it.
yeah,
That is a built-in behavioral
it is.
system.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And that's what I mean by like how it's harsher in that way, because it's like those are the things that people aren't even objecting to. We're not even calling certain things like that out. It's very much accepted. It's normalized for boys to be boys, men to be men, to do certain things like that, to the point where it's like you're not even seeing it as an issue. For me, it's not like all men are terrible. It's more of like, where are the men willing to do the work?
Yeah,
That's it.
and
Because all of us are messed up. You know what I'm saying? That's really it. That's really the requirement. Oh, I know for me, that's the requirement that I'm asking for.
I'll be the first one to, to say I'm not a 100% good guy. This is a journey of growth. Like, I remember times in college when, chilling with my friends and, situations come up with girls, and I'm like, yeah, I'm leaving, and they're like, oh, why? She wanted you, blah blah. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not putting myself in that situation, like any a situation where a girl was clearly emotionally vulnerable. I would kind of separate myself from, and the thing with my growth is, yeah, of course, the initial impetus was, I have sisters. I would want my sisters to be treated that way, and that's how usually a lot of men view these things. Like, I wouldn't happen to my sister, but then it takes work and time to view women beyond that. You have to, like, separate your personal relationships when interacting with women. Like, I had to go beyond that and be like, look, this, even though this person's not my sister or my mother or whatever, somebody else's. She's important to somebody. Just because I don't have any relationship doesn't mean I should be, I should not be a dog. I should be treated as a fully actualized individual person whose agency should be respected. And that's a personal journey I do think a lot of guys go through at different times. I love movies like this that, stimulate these
Mm.
kind of conversations, because that's honestly, if Sarah Polly, that was her purpose of the movie, like, to, like, these movies like this push conversation to these topics that, people don't want to talk about.
I think that this film was a great example of just nuance.
Yeah.
And I hope that men are watching it. I know that, well, the people who I watch, or who I engage with in terms of who are in the film space, they are men and they have watched the movie and I think they've liked it. So
Did you like that clip? Well, you can listen to the entire podcast, because the 16 millimeter Film Crew podcast is available on all major podcast platforms.